Hey everyone, it's Gildemem here, and today we're going to explain how to gear your characters with Ascended Gear. I will cover what Ascended Gear is and then the type of ways to acquire them. Ascended Gear is the second best gear you can get in this game. It has the color rarity pink. Across all gear from lowest to highest gear, the colors are as follows: white, blue, which is common, green, which is masterwork, yellow for rare, orange for exotic, pink, which is for the Ascended Gear we're talking about today, and purple, which is for legendary gear. Now, Ascended is the next best thing after exotics, and even if you cannot acquire Ascended, you do not need to be worried. The game can be played with exotic gear in most game modes. The only exception is in Fractals of the Mists, a type of endgame content where Ascended Gear eventually matters in the higher levels. Now, Ascended Gear basically offers about a 10% or so in stat value compared to exotics. Ascended and legendary gear have the same stat value, although with legendary gear, the purple color, it has the option to change the type of stats that you want to play with. With Ascended Gear, which is the pink color, you can only change it through a Mystic Forge recipe, although this can be costly if you need to use this too many times. When you acquire your Ascended Gear, you do have the option of selecting your stats before you finally lock that gear in. But before you decide on your stats, check to see which build you're going to run with for the content that you play. You can find builds on your class for different game modes in the following websites. I have listed them in the description, such as Meta Battle for general builds across all game modes, Snowcrows for raiding, and Discretize for fractals. Always check if you are okay with the stats before confirming. Now, with that out of the way, let's get through the type of ways you can get Ascended Gear. Laurels. You obtain Laurels through your daily login rewards. You can save up and eventually get some Ascended Gear from the Laurel merchants. Guild missions. By doing weekly guild missions, you can earn a currency called Guild Commendations. With them, you can buy Ascended Gear from the Guildhall Commendation merchants. Collections. There are a lot of collection achievements that reward you with Ascended. Example, the specialization collections, which you can finish the collection of a weapon that you're looking to gear with. There are also the Caladbolg weapons, which you can obtain with a quest line that only becomes available after completing the Heart of Thorns expansion. These weapons are the Greatsword, Sword, Dagger, Shield, or Scepter from this particular collection. Fractals. Ascended Gear can drop in fractal chests, mostly rings, and you can buy Ascended equipment in the fractal lobby with fractal currencies. Living World. A lot of episodes in seasons 3, 4, and 5, or known as the Iceboot Saga, have merchants that sell Ascended Gear in exchange for the currency in the specific zones of their episodes. PvP. You can literally get all Ascended playing PvP. The Mist, Pendant, Band, and Talisman are available in Fractals, PvP, and WW merchants, so you can actually buy them with any of their respective currencies. Dub v Dub. Like PvP, you can get all Ascended in WW, although if it is not your game mode, you may want to just follow a tag with a large group of people and acquire enough of the currency till you can get the items that you want. Unless you're a roamer or a PvPer and you're up to the challenge, then go ahead, go get some bags. Raiding. You can get Ascended from raids. The bosses might drop them if you are lucky enough. Bosses also drop a currency named Magnetite Shards, which you can then use to spend on Ascended Gear from the merchants. Strike missions. Running strikes earns you the currency Profit Shards, which you can then use those to buy gear from the merchant in the Eye of the North outpost. Crafting. You can craft Ascended Gear with your crafting professions. Each crafting profession can craft certain ones. Example, a weaponsmith can craft an Ascended Axe, or a leather worker can craft all the medium Ascended Gear for rangers, engineers, and thieves, and so on. Crafting is the most expensive method of getting Ascended, as you have time gates on some of the materials, and they are a bit pricey on the trading post if you're not patient with crafting them. Mystic Forge. You can obtain some Ascended gear by throwing the right items in the forge. You can find recipes and unlock them, and the forge will give you something. You can look through the wiki page. There are a lot of recipes that you can find on Ascended to do with the Mystic Forge. RNG. World bosses have a chance to drop Ascended gear. Now, this isn't the best method to obtain Ascended gear, but if you do run world bosses from time to time, you may get lucky and the RNG lords will bless you with a piece. One more method that I forgot to mention in the original audio of this video: you can get Ascended gear through Grandmaster Marks. They are a currency that you use to exchange for stat selectable Ascended armors and weapons. You can select all prefixes. The expansion specific prefixes will be unavailable unless you own those expansions. You can get the Grandmaster Marks from the box of Grandmaster Marks. Up to 3 can be obtained once per PvP League season, or you can be purchased by using 10 Grandmaster Mark shards. You get these in WW, which are a final reward chest for bronze, silver, and gold divisions of the skirmish reward tracks in World vs. World. Now, each mark does require a respective recipe and item from the recipe book, and they'll be purchased from a couple of vendors that you can find in WW, PvP, and Fractals of the Mist. Now, each mark will require a level 500 crafting discipline, and depending on the type of Grandmaster Mark that you do buy, you'll only be able to do the armor for that set. For example, if you buy a crafting discipline armor smith, you will only be able to do the heavy armor, and so on and so forth. You can find all this information on this wiki page right here, linked in the video and at the bottom of the description. You can also find the mechanics, for example, which ones will give you armor smith for heavy, leather worker for medium, tailor for light, and so on and so forth. You can find the list of the vendors that you can purchase these marks from here. Now, some of them will be time gated, but it's up to you. And I believe this method is a bit more expensive than crafting them, so you might spend a bit more money, but it's another option. And in case you already have some of this, you might want to just spend it, but it is another option for you. You can find all this information here, but I think that should be about it for all the ways you can get Ascended armor and weapons. And that should cover all the methods in acquiring Ascended gear. Early days of Guild Wars 2 didn't have many options, and it's gotten much better over the years with these choices. If you found any other methods or tricks I didn't mention in this video, feel free to comment them below. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing. To be notified when content goes live on this channel, you can turn on notifications. And if you have any additional questions, you can find me on Twitch on the following days and time. So stop by and say hello. But until next time, I will see you when I see you. Take care.